Alright guys, about to change the oil. Anyways. Alright, so I'm about to change the oil in my 2003 F150. For those of you guys that don't know, I got a truck now. Anyways, so this will be the first oil change on it. It's the 4.2 V6. And look at me, I already got everything ready. Got my gloves on, got my light, oil filter wrench, oil filter, got my oil, drain pan, and let the truck sit for a minute so it'll cool down in my garage. So I'm gonna get it done. Okay, so I went ahead and broke loose the drain plug. Let me remove that red cap out the way a little bit real quick there. Trying to give you guys the most light output. There it is. Oh god, it's always nice. Yeah, she was due for an oil change. Oh god. Oh. Almost forgot to undo the little vent so it'll drain in faster. Actually, I did forget to. I didn't almost. I did. Anyways, just let that oil drain out, which it was due for an oil change. And the filter's right here towards the front of the engine. I'm hoping you guys get a good view of this, so you guys can tell. Anyways, I went ahead and cleaned off my gloves while letting that drain under there. Okay, so I let the oil drain out for a little bit. I'm about to go put the drain plug back in. 1 second, let me get up in there. Go ahead and get my wrench and socket. Ugh. Okay, so the oil's pretty much done now for the most part. So we'll clean it up. It's hard to do with one hand. It's kind of rough. But it's okay. Adapt and overcome. Anyways, let's go ahead and put my drain plug back in. Make sure it's all cleaned up. I'm just going to go ahead and tighten her down. Alright. That should be good. Nothing crazy. I'm not trying to He-Man it down or anything. Okay, so now next up will be this oil filter, which I need the oil filter wrench. Ugh. Let me get it. Here she is. Oil filter wrench. Now let me get this. Okay, so I believe I have the oil filter wrench now loosened where I can just hand tighten or hand loosen it now, which I do. Just gotta make sure this all falls together correctly. Hang on. Readjusting this for you guys. Yeah, so you can already see it it's leaking already. Ugh. Hang on, I'm just gonna go ahead and let this drain out some. There it is. Then you just kind of set it over there and let it, well, ideally not drop it, but it'll be fine. And there it goes. You let it drain for a minute. So I got these rags. I can go ahead and clean this up a little bit, try to. Okay. Alright guys, once again, gotta go one-handed. You want to make sure that the oil you use, you get some oil on your finger here, and you go ahead and rub the oil around the O-ring right here. So it just helps make sure that the O-ring seats properly when you put the oil filter on. Let me get back up under the truck here. Oh, and you also want to double check and make sure the old O-ring didn't stick to the housing there, which it didn't. It's still stuck onto the oil filter. Alright, so now that I've done that, I'm just going to go ahead and put the new one on. There you go. Now it doesn't need to be crazy tight. You can probably honestly just hand tighten this on. Let me get one of these. Clean this off real good. Give myself a little better grip and okay. Now that's good and on there. Clean all that. Make sure your drain plugs nice and tightened, which I already tightened it from before. And should be ready to add the oil now, which I will go and start doing now. So I bought some cheap oil because since I bought the truck, I don't know who owned it before and how good they took care of it. So as a little preventative thing, I have some cheap oil that I'm just going to go, or cheap oil and oil filter as you saw. I'm just going to change the oil after 1,000 miles after I flush all the crap out. And I'm going to put some good oil in it. So this is just to hold me off. Ugh. Alright, anyways, you know what, this might be a little harder to do. Hang on one second. Now I actually have the camera positioned a little better now, so I'm going to start adding the oil. And if you add the quarts of oil sideways, it allows the oil, it's a little easier to pour in because it doesn't have the air pockets. Okay, so I added about 5 quarts right now, and I'm about to pull the dipstick and just kind of get an idea of where we're at, just so I know where to add oil. Yeah, still not showing clearly yet. Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's just in the safe zone area. I don't know if you can tell. Anyways, there's these 2 hash marks on the dipstick, and you got to get the oil in between there, which it is. But I'm just gonna add a little bit more, just to go ahead and be safe. Make sure it's fine. All right, so the oil filler cap is back on the truck. I've looked under the truck to make sure there's no leaks or anything, which it's fine. It's not leaking or anything. And normally I pull it out and put it into the outside, but it's raining outside. I put the oil and everything in the back of the truck, so I'm just gonna leave the truck in the garage tonight. And should be all done. Good to go.